we were groomed to play this sport ever since we was little.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if people around the globe are groomed to play this sport like we have.
Okay, we got E coming up right now. Emmitt Smith's finally joining us, folks. I love to see that, guys. We got, like I said, I should be saying two Hall of Famers right now, Brian. I'm telling you, you're gonna get there. I promise you. Emmitt,
Hey,
thank you for joining us, man.
what's up, E?
What's up, Brian Mitchell? How you doing, big guy?
I'm good, brother. How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm down here in Charlotte. Got to shoot a commercial tomorrow for QC Kinetics, and so I'm down here getting ready for that. Going to the Panthers game today. I'm not going to the Cowboys game, but I'm going to the Panthers game today.
Oh, okay. Cool, cool. I've been watching it. It's been a little slow one thus far, man. So,
Man, I can't get it. I'm trying to get it down here, and down here in Carolina, I got the Ravens,
oh man.
the Ravens and Buffalo, but I'm trying to see if I can get the Cowboys. I'm trying to get my computer up rolling. That's not connected in with the internet and everything else, so I'm stuck like Chuck right now. But
What I'm paying right now is 6-0. Dallas.
6-0 Dallas, 2 field goals.
Field goals, yeah.
Yeah, that means our offense is somewhat stalling a little bit, and I mean we're moving the ball, but we're getting in red zone territory or somewhere on the other side of the 50, and not punching in. How many penalties have we had?
I haven't seen a ton of them. I was like listening to Jesse a little bit there, but I haven't seen a ton of them. But it's just you're right. They're moving, but then they're stalling. But on the flip side, my team in all this black now looking like the Raiders with some yellow. Look like the Steelers a little bit to me, man. Actually,
Hey, hey, man. I mean, I know y'all changing uniforms and everything, but man, some things just need to stay the same. You know what I'm saying?
and this one is different right here. I know people like the uniforms, but it's gonna take a little get used to. I think.
Yeah, yeah. It generally does when you change uniforms and stuff like that. You upgrade them or you make them all look a little different than normal. But fans are very fickle.
Oh yeah, very much so.
All right, guys. Obviously, a big part of this is bringing fans live. So we're going to start that process off right now. Charles, you are our first user. Take it away, my man.
So, Em and Brian, who inspired you guys to play football as a career, and how did they inspire you?
Well,
I'll let you go first, Brian.
mine was former Dallas Cowboys, and that's two of them actually. I was a quarterback early on, and Roger Staubach. I've always been a big fan of Roger. And then as I began to play football and started playing running back, I've always looked at Tony Dorsett because he wasn't the biggest guy, because everyone when you're hearing about people playing the league, you think everybody has to be a certain size, and TD was like 180 something pounds, and he was very very effective. And I was kind of smaller, so I was like, okay, cool. If he did it, I could probably do it. So I kind of looked at those two guys to get ready to go.
Cool.
You know what? I'm similar to Brian. I mean, I I appreciated the game so much, and I enjoyed watching the game and seeing various players play the game. But Walter Payton was my guy when I got started, all because once I got a chance to understand his size and everything, because everybody on the football field like they're bigger than God as a young kid. I mean, you see them as giants out there. So as you get older, you start to realize and recognize that some of these guys are just your size. And when you see someone just your size, you gravitate to them and watch them a lot more because they are a clear indication of what you're capable of being that size. And so you don't model your game after them, but you definitely watch and you learn and you appreciate their skill set because of their size. Now,
Mm-hmm.
there were other guys that I love looking at too, like Eric Dickerson, Bo Jackson, even
Yeah.
Herschel Walker, Marcus Allen, on top of Tony Dorsett and Franco Harris and so many others. But the guys that really was my size was the guys that I really truly started to appreciate a lot more because they were a clear indication of where I wanted to go.
There you go.
That's cool. That's sweet. Did you guys ever, when you were younger, did you ever hear? I'm a big Syracuse guy, so Ernie Davis is one of the
Yes.
big guys up in Syracuse. Was he ever on your guys' radar? Especially being the first black athlete to win the Heisman Trophy.
Well, I knew a lot about the history of Ernie, and also you had Jim Brown up there as well. So when you look at Syracuse, you may think a lot about the basketball program. Go into the history. There's some hella names right there, especially those two guys when it comes down to football.
And don't forget, Floyd Little was there too.
Yeah,
Yep.
Floyd, man, he was at the induction, inducted with Emmitt Smith into the Hall of Fame. That was great. It was nice talking to you guys. Go Cowboys.
Well, I can't go along with that.
Hey,
Oh
you just
man.
gotta hold your tongue sometimes. You just hey, you know what? Thanks for joining us, but I ain't gonna say that. So no, I feel that. All right, guys. Our next user actually jumped the queue, and I'm gonna kind of let everyone know how this works. He used his trivia points to jump the queue, which means you go to the top of the line. So essentially, it's like a fast pass. If you've ever been to Disney World, Six Flags, whatever, any amusement park, essentially it's he used his points, jumped the queue so he can talk to Brian and Emmitt faster, which is obviously amazing, and that's what you like people to do. So he rewards his trivia. So we're not doing just participation trophies for trivia, participation points. We're using these points to jump the queue. So make sure everyone does that. Make sure you use your points when you get those trivia points to jump the queue so you can talk to these guys faster. But Lou, take it away.
I have a question for you, Brian. I know you have 14,014 kickoff return yards, which is the most in NFL history. You have the most punt yards at 4,999 for a total of 19,1300 yards, which is amazing, the most in NFL history. And I got to agree with Jesse, you're definitely a Hall of Famer. With that being said, I know you played quarterback at Louisiana. You were drafted and played a running back. So, how did the evolution happen for you to become such an amazing uh, kickoff returner?
Well, I was told that's the only way I could make the football team. And my first kickoff, I returned for a touchdown. And but the thing of it, a lot of people my age, like Emmitt, we never looked at ourselves as like just a certain position. We looked at ourselves as football players. And when my dream has always been to play in the NFL, and I was offered to go to Canada and play at Saskatchewan as quarterback, but my dream was never to play in Canada. So when the NFL gave me the opportunity and I had some success earlier, my notion was just any way I could touch the football, I wanted to do it. And all of a sudden, I looked up and I had played 14 years. So it
That's
just
amazing.
it fell that way for me.
Yeah. And I think it's pretty neat that you and Emmett came into the league together in 1990. So, you guys are draft brothers.
Same year.
Yeah.
He was the draft brother. So was Shannon Sharp. I mean, Sterling Sharp. No, Shannon Sharp was,
That
along
was.
with Junior Sal.
Yeah,
Um, I think Cortez Kennedy was in that draft too, as well.
he was. Yeah.
Yeah. What a great draft. Real quick, Emmett, when did you first hear the term triplets? And do you know where it was derived from?
No, man, I don't know when the first time I heard the term triplets, and I don't know where it came from, but somebody started calling us the triplets, and it just stuck.
It
And that's
really
just,
did.
yeah, that's just the way it was. So I had no parts in it. Only thing I had to do was just do my job on the football field and allow great marketeers to put stuff together, and you know it. Next thing you know, it just catch roots and start to grow.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I do know they're putting out a little film on the Cowboys app called The Triplet. So I look forward to seeing that. And always great to speak with you, E. And nice to meet you, Brian.
All right, Lou.
Have a
Same to you.
great Sunday. Go Cowboys.
Appreciate it.
People are trying to sneak it in. They're gonna try to catch you right there. You're gonna say it once just on accident. You know, it's just gonna be one of those
so,
things.
so Brian, what you think about the name Commandos?
You mean commanders?
The Commanders.
Hey, that's a
What?
totally different team, man. That's a totally different team.
I knew totally that the name was going to change. I started to hear stuff every year, and every time they came back, the people against the old name got stronger and stronger. And then when all the stuff went down with George Floyd, at
Right.
that point I felt that okay, this is the time. And I remember telling people when Dan said I will never, I said he made a mistake. Now
Made
he
a
has
big mistake.
he has people involved now that never cared that will make a lot of noise. But I felt no name that they can get was going to make anybody happy. So what it is at this point now is they got to win football games because when you're not winning, people are going to focus on the name. But if they were to, I remember when the Ravens changed their name, people were knocking that name, and they went and won the Super Bowl, and everybody fell in love with the Ravens. And I
Right.
think the same thing can happen here, but you got to win. If you're not going to win, then we'll be talking about this until they win.
Correct.
Yeah.
I agree with that. The one thing some people do is when they say never, that's a sign of arrogance. And that's
Yeah.
a sign of not willing to change and not adjust to the demands of time.
Mm-hmm.
And when you say never, that you made everybody dislike you even more.
True.
and, and I don't know how come people just don't understand that and get that piece because when you got fans that you're relying on to come to your game and support your investment,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be at least humble enough to at least hear them out
Oh yeah.
and give them a chance. Even just allow them to even think that they got some kind of influence.
Yeah.
And so that's why you don't never have many issues out of the Green Bay Packers fan because they all feel like they own part of the team.
That's it. That's it. Totally.
I mean, I'm on a plane ride. I forget where I was going, and the flight attendant has this lanyard around her neck that has Green Bay Packers. I said, and I said slightly. I said, "I'm sorry, man, but you gonna have to take that off." And she said, "I can't take it off because I'm part owner of the team." I said, "I understand. I understand." So that's how she
Yeah.
feels. And so when you like I said, when you're putting yourself in that position, you at least got to be soft enough to say,
Yeah.
"Okay, yeah, we would take everything under consideration." At least the PR guy should have told him
Oh
that.
yeah.
Now, either he did not listen to the PR guy, or he just wanted to do it on his own. And so some people got to learn the hard way. As my mom used to say, "Son, that stove is hot. You touch that stove, you're gonna burn
Uh huh.
yourself." And what would a irresponsible young child would do? He would test the limits and touch the stove and burn his hand.
You're right. Yeah, but it's just and once you know the world has changed. The world cares about what people feel and think, and all these groups are very influential. And when you start losing money, you would make a change. So I just tell people, you go through life where you have a game plan, and every once in a while you got to do like Peyton Manning said, check the pancakes. You know,
Exactly.
you got to call an audible and move forward. And I think the audible would have been, like you said, although you could have been having that belief, you should have said, we'll take everything into consideration, and you would have had less people coming after you.
Exactly. And that's the key. That's part
Yep.
of it right there, having less people coming after you.
Totally.
Some people just don't get it.
Hey, every single week, everyone's preaching the truth. We've had it numerous weeks, and I absolutely love this conversation, guys. We're gonna kind of flip the role here. We've been doing this every single event, Brian. We kind of have this new segment called One Burning Question, where it kind of gets the wheels turning a little bit, talking about the stuff on the field. So this week's One Burning Question has to do with the man under center. I know he was amazing with Philly, but he's kind of been bouncing around the past couple of years, and rightfully so. Kind of hasn't gotten his footing. So I'm going to ask you this, right? The one burning question is Carson Wentz the answer for the Commanders?
And I think that answer is not there yet. I don't think no one can say yes totally, and they can't say no. We have to let it play out. And the way I look at it is Carson Wentz is going to have to understand that the one common denominator in all the things he's dealt with is him. And if you've been dealing with stuff, you're going to either have to change or figure out a way, because right now you've had two teams that say, okay, we're going to let you go. And now you're on the third team. And if things don't work out, you may not get another chance. So he's going to have to figure out what is it about his personality that rubs people the wrong way. He has all the talent in the world. He has all the physical skills. But Emmitt, you played a long time. We've seen a lot of guys who look like Tarzan, but they can't go out there and do it because they had something that was a hang up mentally. He
Right.
has to figure out what that is.
And to echo on what Brian is saying is that we all have to mature into our role, and we all have to make adjustments if we
Yeah.
want to continue to make progress. You just don't play the game the same way you played it in college. You have to
Yeah.
mature as a player. You have to become a leader. You have to take all different kinds of things in considerations. Everybody's not motivated the same way, and as a quarterback, when you're thrust in that leadership role, like Carson Wentz is, and so much is dependent upon him taking care of the football, getting the ball out of his hand to the right people, and so forth. If you're not showing continuous progress, then and you that means you haven't figured it out,
Yeah.
or you just going along thinking that you're gonna play the game the same way you as a child, and that does not work. And especially in the National Football League, when they are expecting and demanding of you to grow and mature into the quarterback that they want you to become. Just
And
as
especially if you're gonna have a 4 in front of that number and a 0, 40 million and things like that, you're gonna
exactly,
have to make sure you change for that.
exactly.
So
You're
what
gonna
do you
have
think happened? Because obviously he had those MVP numbers when he was with the Eagles. Then he goes to the Colts, has this falling out with the Eagles, goes to the Colts, and then obviously he's with the Commanders now. Is there something mentally that happened when he got that injury, or is there anything that, you kind of saw from him that his game's kind of dropped off a little bit?
Well, I think he got a lot of injuries consecutively. And I think what happens sometimes when a person get injured, they automatically assume they can just go back to being who they were, or they kind of shy away from who they are.
yeah,
And that happened to him a little bit in the thing. Then you start forcing, and some people just can't handle that mental strain where you got injured, so you think you're not playing well, and now they go draft somebody in your position, and you start to worry about that. And he started questioning things, and you can run yourself out of a situation. So then he went to the Colts, and I think the Colts situation was more about him not getting the vaccine more than anything,
All
which
right,
is all.
guys, thank you so.
which is also an indicator of leadership too.
Yeah, yeah,
Because getting a vaccine is much bigger than just you as an individual. I mean, we all have our own personal preferences. I prefer not to take a vaccine shot, but I tell you what, I've seen enough people die to
yeah,
convince me to go get it.
yeah.
And if I wanted to be on the football team and not expose my teammates to something, and they expose me to something, I think it's the right thing to do. If we can all come together and agree to what play we're gonna call and how it's gonna be ran, surely we can
Mm-hmm.
all agree to come together and say, okay, let's get this vaccine for the sake of the entire team, because it's just something that we should do. Because I need everybody on the football field. I don't need nobody sitting at home for 7 days
There
trying
you
to
go.
from COVID. I need every man on the football field to play and play at their very best. And if this is the best chance we have, let's do it. It's not like we're taking a flu shot. We're taking shots. We're taking something that can help prevent actual death, because we've seen a number of people die from it.
Yeah, yeah. I agree with you.
Hey, we just talked about Carson Wentz. If I'm looking at this right, he just threw a touchdown pass.
Touchdown to Jahan Dotson, number 1 draft pick from Penn State.
We might have been talking about Carson Wentz now.
All right, guys, we're going to roll with the fan questions. If you guys want to get in this conversation, you can definitely jump the queue and ask them any questions about Carson Wentz and, kind of keep the conversation going. But first, we're going to go to Wheels 22. Wheels, take it away.
From Melbourne, Australia. How you going?
All right, how you
Good.
doing?
Good. Emmett and Brian, I've got a question. Did you have any favourite players that you competed against when Washington played the Cowboys? Who and why?
Favorite players?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Charles Haley was my when Charles got to Dallas. Charles was my neighbor. We lived in the same neighborhood here, so I always liked going up against Charles because he'd come to my house. You know how crazy Charles is. I mean, he rolled through the trees on this what you call that thing called a Gator, the John Deere,
Yeah.
and he could always just talk a lot of trash. So I had to chip block him a couple times, and he blames me for him having to get back surgery. Why you have to help Jim Lachey? I say, hey, my job was to chip you, and you knew I was going to chip you, especially after you came to my yard and miss my grass. I'm talking all that. So I'll say Charles Tillman.
Oh man, that's funny. That is hilarious. Charles would do that just to spite somebody.
Exactly.
That's how Charles was. But for me, uh, when we played the Commanders, and I want to go back. I'm gonna say the original name. When we played the Skins,
Mm-hmm.
um, it was nothing personal against any of the team. I guess for me, it was just the organization.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell people this all the time. Daniel Snyder, when he came in, he just rubbed everything the wrong way for me. He just did, and it was more trying to humiliate him than it was any player on the football field, because I had tremendous respect for all the players. But I love playing against the Washington Redskins, and that was the reason why, because it was embedded in me. And this kind of goes all the way back to when I was a Gator. We used to play Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like Florida State neither for some reason. And then I come to Cowboys and we play the Skins. And then all of a sudden I hear Eugene Lockhart. Very first time we get ready to play you guys up in RFK. Eugene stands up in front of the team and he says it just like this: they don't like us and we don't like them. If I see any one of you guys out there helping the dog go rescue up off the ground, we're gonna fight right there in the middle of the game. That's how bad it was. And so from that point on, I just adopted it, the rivalry. And so, but all I knew I didn't have nothing personal against anybody, even though Wilbur Marshall tried to take my damn head off. I didn't have nothing personal against anybody, but that was the team to beat. We benchmarked how good we would become if we beat the Skins, or if we beat the Eagles, and if we beat the Giants. You talking about Super Bowl caliber teams, the Giants and the Skins at the time.
Yeah.
Totally agree. And my actually first ever game was actually in '94, and I actually got to see both of you guys play. So my one and only time I've actually been over to America was actually to see you guys back in '94. So it was actually really good. And I'm planning on Emmitt. I'm planning on coming to a game, not this year, but next year, next season. So I can't wait.
All right, brother.
So,
take care, man.
So all the best. Nice to meet you, Brian. And as I'm going to say, go Cowboys.
Hey, Brian, obviously you can tell that. Hey, we can tell, Brian, we're getting everyone and anyone from across the country. The world, I should say, man. It's wild. We've had people from Australia, Mexico, Canada, England. I don't know if I'm missing any, Emmitt, but we've had it from all across the globe, which is truly incredible. So,
I like that.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. So we're gonna keep on rolling with that. We're gonna have another Aussie come in, and it's gonna be Hayden. Hayden, take it away.
I don't know how the other guy Brett's so wide awake. It's bloody 5 a.m. right now. I'm hiding outside so I don't wake up the wife and baby. But just one question, Em, that's been on my mind all season. What do you think maybe that the Cowboys over the off season this year, that they let so many people go, and we haven't seen to get any new players in? Now, I think the NFC as a whole is probably the weakest it's been in a very long time. So I thought this was the perfect year to maybe load up like the Rams and Bucks have done recently and maybe go for a shot. But instead, we seem to lose important pieces, not replace them. Now we're stuck in the middle of the rack with everyone else in the NFC, What's your thoughts?
Yeah. I think this offseason, letting Cooper go kind of, and letting wide receiver went to the other wide receiver that would let go.
Number one, didn't he, last year?
Yeah. Letting him go, letting both of those guys go is kind of weakened. It weakened our whole wide receiver core. Gallup is on the sideline. And when that happened, when they didn't replace somebody that could create separation in man-to-man coverage, it created a whole nother mess because it put CD Lamb in a box. They could talk all they want to about CD Lamb could be a number one, but CD Lamb cannot be a number one if he ain't got nobody outside that can create issues.
Sure.
So without having Gallup on the field, or without having Williams or Amari Cooper, guys that was respectable, everyone else is trying to gain experience. You got Femi Fehoko out there on the football field. You got the draft choice, Jalen. They're trying to gain knowledge and experience. So with the only experienced guy that you actually have on the field is CD Lamb right now, and Brown. Brown is doing his thing too, but you got to have that consistency. I don't think I see that in the wide receiver core, which is making our offense very somewhat one dimensional at this moment. And so Lamb gonna have to become superhero, which he shouldn't have to become superhero because he's good all by himself. He's even better when you have a core that can actually balance out the secondary and give somebody else something to think about. Right now, we don't have. They're not worried about Femi Fehoko. They're not worried about some other wide receiver. They're not worried. They're more concerned about the run game, Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott, tight end position, as well as CD Lamb. Everything else, they chalking those up. They can play man-to-man on those guys out there all day, every day until those guys prove themselves up. So that's our challenge offensively.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Well, hopefully make it somewhere this year, and then next year get some more pieces and really build for that really big push.
Had a couple questions here. One quick one. Do you still have goals on your mirror?
Not on the mirror. Not on the mirror. Not like I used to. But I just moved into a new house, so I'm getting up. I'm getting my vision back together. But yeah, I got my goals list in a private folder.
Oh, in the private folder. All right.
Ah.
Well, a couple other, just throw a couple pictures at you here. Throw me some memories of what you were feeling and how you felt when you were taking these pictures with the 86 Gatorade Player of the Year.
Oh my goodness. You went way back. You know, in '86, being the Gatorade National Football Player of the Year, I mean, I really didn't realize or recognize what that truly meant in terms of whether or not that would guarantee me success or not. But to be recognized as the National Football Player of the Year was a tremendous honor. And anytime you get recognized as an individual, you kind of feel awkward because you know football is a team sport.
Absolutely.
But you've been identified as one person out of the whole entire team that received that award. And so that says it meant a lot because there are tens of thousands of athletes on a national stage. No, I ain't gonna say on a national stage, but 10,000 athletes in the country vying for opportunities to get scholarships to go on and continue their careers. And to be isolated as the one was amazing. I mean, I was just playing the game. I wasn't worried about accolades and none of that. But when they start coming like that, and you get afforded the opportunity to go to your first Super Bowl in Pasadena, California, then you start to realize, oh, this is something special. There's multiple layers and levels to this thing. The next level for me was college, and so I had to take it one step at a time.
Yeah.
And I also had to prove myself because when you're Gatorade National Football Player of the Year, you go into college with a target on your back.
Absolutely.
A target not only on your back by your own teammates, but a target on your back from the team and opposing teams that you're playing against. Because trust me, they put your resume in front of that defense. Say, this is who you're going to be.
You're on all the highlight reels. You know, they're looking at you,
and they're studying your tape. They're trying to figure out how to stop you.
Oh yeah.
Everybody want to know how tough you are. They want to know, is he really that good and all that kind of stuff. So you have a lot to prove.
Yeah. Yeah. Dwight Thomas said that that you were a real team player. You didn't really focus on yourself as the one that made it happen. You were focused on all the other players helping you make it happen. So that's really cool.
Yeah, because we all share in it. I mean, when you go to training camp and you got 2 days and you're in the state of Florida and it's like 98 and the humidity takes to 106 and you out there practicing twice a day and you sit out there with the bugs flying all around your head, sweat dropping off, that sun beaming on you, you drinking out of water hose, not no Gatorade bottles and Gatorade cups and none of that stuff. You're drinking out of water hose, hot water hose. And when you're going through that, people don't see that.
Sure.
They only see the end results when you step out there on the football field and you've been named Gatorade National Football Player of the Year. They don't see all your teammates and what they all sacrificed because
Yeah.
we're all in it together. And that's the one thing that I love about our sport. I could not have been successful. Brian could not have been the punt returner and kick returner that he was without those guys creating those running lanes and even coaches putting him in a position to do some of those things. And
Absolutely.
I never took an award lightly because it was something to be shared. Even though I was the one that was getting it, it's always to be shared with all of your teammates and coaches.
That's awesome to hear. I really appreciate the humility there, and I really think that people say self-made. Everybody always says, "Oh, he's self-made millionaire," all this stuff. Nobody's self-made, in my opinion. I think it takes hundreds, if not millions, of people to believe in you, to support you, to get you to where you're at. Nobody is ever truly self-made. They always need help from someone else.
That is a true statement. That
Yes,
is a true statement. You may feel like you're self-made because you're getting all the accolades, but somebody helped you along the way. Somebody gave you some wisdom at the right time. Somebody gave you some knowledge at the right time. Somebody even gave you some finances at the right time. Somebody gave you an opportunity at the right time. Now, you did put in the work.
Yeah.
You put in the work now. Don't get me wrong, because that work, when it meets when that preparation meets that opportunity, what's happening? The opportunity is that you laying down the work.
Sure.
The physical work, like off-season work, training work, that is predicated upon individuals, how hard they're willing to work individually.
Yeah.
But you're hoping that everybody's working as hard as you are, and it comes together during training camp, like
Absolutely.
it should. And everybody's in great shape. And Brian mentioned something earlier. These guys come into training camp to get in the shape.
Yeah.
we went into training camp in shape.
Totally.
Yeah.
We didn't spend 2 or 3 weeks trying to get into shape. If anything, we spent about 3 or 4 days trying to get acclimated to the doggone uniform being on our backs and getting rid of that soreness. It took about 4 or 5 days to get rid of that soreness. Get a lot of folks coming in from various parts of the world. Matter of fact, as you saw, we had 2 folks from Australia. We've had folks in from London, England. We had folks from Brazil, obviously, Mexico, Colombia, Toronto. They come from every place.
Yeah, football has gotten it's worldwide, man. That's the good thing about it.
Yeah. Too bad we couldn't play it on the global stage, though.
Hey, it's getting there. It's getting there with the London games and all those Mexico games too.
Yeah, but what I mean by the global stage, Jess, is that I like baseball, or tennis.
Oh, yep. Okay.
Yeah.
It's played around the world. Football is not quite at that level where the competition will be at that level. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So why do you think that is then? Just because of the equipment costs and everything like that? And I mean, it's easier to play basketball. You just pick up a ball or soccer and just, go out to a field and kick it around or something like that?
A hell of a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
Cheaper. Baseball, look at baseball. Yeah. In Japan and things of that nature, their players can play.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
They can actually play now. Try to play football over there. Yeah, you think a big sumo wrestler could sit down and be an offensive thing else, but shoot, he might not be able to be that guy. I mean, of course, we were groomed to play this sport ever since we was little.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if people around the globe are groomed to play this sport like we have.
Yeah.
I mean, and plus the teaching cannot be the same. The workout cannot be the same.
Yeah.
And it is a hard sport. But I tell you what is a global sport, that the other football, soccer.
Yeah.
That's a global sport.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Big time.
Huge.
You see some of these football contracts and you look at some of those soccer contracts, you go, well, damn. You got to pay a team $60 million just to talk to this dude about paying them some money.
Yeah, just talk to him.
Yeah, think about that.
And just imagine you a free agent and somebody want to talk to you or talk to me, and go to Jerry and say, Jerry, I want to talk to Emmitt. He's a free agent. Can I go talk to him? Yeah, you gonna pay me $60 million? Jerry says like that. You gonna pay me $60 million just to talk to him? Okay.
All right, Brian. Obviously, I got to ask you this question too. Just kind of wrapping it up right here. What did you think about the event in general?
I like it. This is when I first heard the concept and I looked at it, I was like, you know what? This is something big time right here. Because just think about it. Like fans now, you can sit here and talk with guys back and forth while watching the game and get a little insight like that. I think, like a lot of these different things that are popping up, this is something where it's not a 1-2 minute video. It's the actual interaction with guys. So it makes the world of sense to me.